Now, when I think about Wakanda Forever, the one key takeaway that I have from the entire experience of watching this movie on the big screen was the musical score. Man, this is some of the most amazingly captivating orchestral music that you hear playing in the background of a motion picture, probably in this whole year. Okay. Now, I mean, I expected the soundtrack to feature something like hip hop music and stuff like that because we got that with the first movie as well. But with this one, the orchestral music, man, the score itself is just filled with so much suspense, so much dread, so much menace. It's like every time something is happening or something is about to happen or the characters are about to get into a throwdown, with each other, man, the music was just unbelievable. Okay. So that was like the one thing for me that I felt really elevated the whole experience. Without the music, probably the movie would have been probably 60% less effective. I don't know, that's just my take on it. But think about it, guys. Okay, if you watch this film, look out for the score. Hey guys, Ken here from the Retro Toy Escapades channel, all the way out here in Malaysia. So I'll be doing my review of Wakanda Forever in this video today. I just checked it out in cinemas here all across Malaysia. The film just opened on the 10th of November. Probably, I guess, in most markets all around the world as well. So if you've seen it as well, do hit me up in the comment section below. Meantime, join me for this video as I share my thoughts on Wakanda Forever, aka Black Panther 2. Now, the rumors are true. The movie is 2 hours and 45 minutes in length. Okay, so it's definitely one of the longer Marvel movie productions that's out there. So, yeah, you're definitely going to need quite a fair bit of popcorn. That's for sure. Okay. But to be honest, I didn't actually feel the length when I was watching this movie. I thought the pacing was just fine. But that doesn't mean that there aren't some scenes that I feel could have been chopped out of the whole movie. Definitely some supporting actors that I think didn't need to be there. All right. It's like when you were watching the movie and they appeared, it kind of made sense at the time. But later, when the movie ends, you do find yourself wondering, why did it need to be in there in the first place? Okay, what did they actually contribute to the whole plot? All right. Now, I didn't really have a lot of expectations going into this movie. That's because the plot was pretty much already spelled out to us in the trailers. Okay, you've got this ruler of an underwater kingdom that's threatening the people of Wakanda. And you know what? Honestly, if you have even the slightest familiarity with comic book stories or you're familiar with Marvel characters in general, you'll know that Prince Nemo, the submariner, he's not really a bad guy. Okay, he's helped out the Avengers on numerous occasions. He's protected the surface world. Okay, countless times. He's even been a part of his own superhero team, the Defenders, all right? So when you kind of already know that the main person that's being propped up as the villain in the movie isn't really such a bad guy, well, you kind of feel like the stakes aren't too high. But I'm not saying, okay, that Namo isn't strictly a bad guy in this movie, okay? Because, yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that, all right? You're just going to have to watch the movie to find out for yourself. But I will say that the movie did surprise me on so many different other levels, okay? It presented to me different character arcs to establish characters that, I kind of thought they were a certain way, but it turns out that they weren't, okay? They're completely different from what I expected. So you're just going to have to watch the film to find out what I mean by that. But I will say that the movie is capable of surprising you. Now, with Black Panther Wakanda Forever, I just feel that we're getting some of the strongest performances that you'll probably ever see in a Marvel movie production. Okay. And you know what? Marvel movies have always employed really huge actors. Okay. Like maybe in the key roles, it's always like a main star. All right. But the supporting cast is usually just that. They're just backdrop. Okay. They're just hanging around in the back there. They're there for comic relief or just to, help things move along, but you don't normally think too much about them. But in this one, it's like the supporting cast is so freaking strong, okay? All of the performances, right? I mean, Angela Bassett, she like literally commands the screen every time she's there. And, Letitia Wright, we saw her as Shuri, of course, in the first movie, she was kind of like a scene stealer. She stole the show, but she was more of a sidekick. This time around, the whole movie literally belongs to her, okay? I mean, you know that because, going in, you see her on the poster, she's right smack in the middle there, like that, so she basically has to carry the entire movie. And I gotta tell you something, guys. I mean, she pulls it off. Okay, honestly, no question about it. Among all of the actors and actresses in this movie, she probably has to go through the widest range of emotions, and she keeps surprising you. And the character arc, I think, the one that they've given her, the backstory to her, and how they fleshed out the character that she's supposed to be, I think that is probably like the most captivating out of all of the things that you see here in this movie, and probably the weakest Link, all right, in this whole movie is definitely the villain. No question about it. Now, there's always been this communication out there that Marvel movie villains are simply not quite as strong as the heroes. They don't seem to present a capable or realistic enough threat, okay? Not enough for you to really feel bothered, okay? I mean, this has been going back to the first Iron Man movie with Ironmonger. I know that he's from the comics, but it just felt like he was just an anti-Iron Man, like an evil version of Iron Man. Or even stuff like Yellow Jacket, it was just like an evil Ant-Man, you know? We've had good villains, sure. Like, I mean, Thanos. Okay, Thanos was a great villain, but he's a CGI character. So, part of me kind of like just tunes out a little bit because, I know that you can get computers to sort of like manipulate how, he presents himself. Okay. And yeah, we've had Loki. Loki's a great villain, but Loki turned out to be a good guy as well. But when we came to Killmonger in the first Black Panther movie, he was one of the few villains that I felt, first of all, was a credible enough threat. The performance by Michael B. Jordan was one of the all-time best. And, frankly speaking, he stayed a bad guy up to the end. All right. He didn't have like a change of heart or anything like that. He stayed the bad guy right up to the end. So, that's one of the performances that I always appreciate for the first Black Panther movie. If you're looking for something similar in this one, you're not going to get it with Nemo, okay? Because Nemo just doesn't deliver the goods. He just isn't a captivating or charismatic enough villain. That's how I feel about it. Now, while I felt that Nemo himself wasn't really that much of a credible threat in the movie, but his underwater race of warriors, especially this one particular guy, this hulking blue skinned warrior called Atuma, this guy was legitimately pretty scary, I gotta say. Okay, and he's cool, okay? Especially, he's depicted in this frankly fantastic fight scene that takes place on a bridge pretty early on into the movie. And that fight scene is incredible, okay? It kind of makes you want to see more of this Atuma guy and not so much of Namor in a way, Now, the special effects in this movie are a huge improvement as well compared to the first movie, but there are some shots I couldn't help but feel that seemed a little bit unfinished. So it's like this is one shot where you get this flying craft. It's just blasting away at Nemo, and Nemo's on this bridge. He jumps off and lands straight into the water. The shot of him jumping off kind of seemed like a video game edit, all right? And also some shots of him flying around because, he's got flight, okay? He's got these little wings on his ankles that allow him to like flutter like a butterfly or something like that, and he flies around. And some shots of him whizzing around just seem a little bit unfinished. But I suppose that when you're dealing with several 100,000 effects shots, you can't expect each one of them to look like $1 million, okay? But I will say that this time around, the action choreography has definitely stepped up, okay? There's a huge improvement there in the way that action set pieces are being put together, and also when it comes to establishing the mood of a setting or like a mood of a sequence. So, early on in the movie, there's this one particular scene that takes place underwater, and I have to say that for the first time in a Marvel movie, I felt like a genuine sense of suspense and dread. Okay, like actual fear for these characters, okay, and like what was about to happen to them. And it's all because of the way that the whole sequence was staged, and the music, the score, like I mentioned at the start of the video, the score is just tremendous, and it just invokes such a sense of menace at some of the scenes. And in this particular scene, like I said, okay, I've never felt actual fear for the characters or like a looming sense of something horrible about to happen. Not in a Marvel movie, okay? In a horror movie, yeah, sure, okay, but not in a Marvel one. And this was like a first. And it kind of made me feel like wanting to see more of that. Like if this was like a Marvel horror movie, this was the tone that I would need for it, okay? But, this is what we got. And what little was there was fantastic. Now, this being a Marvel movie, there's definitely an end credit scene. This one happens midway through the end. And the deal with these end credits is that sometimes you're hanging back in the cinema, after the movie is over, you're waiting, and you get rewarded with something really cool, like an awesome new character appearance, or they tease a plot line, something that you didn't know was going to happen. Sometimes you just get bullshit, okay? It happens, okay? Sometimes you're hanging back and you just get nonsense. But then this one here for Wakanda Forever isn't one of those situations. Okay, this is one of the best ever executed end credits. I urge you, all right, don't even think about leaving that cinema seat once the movie is over. Just stay in your seats. You won't be sorry, all right? It's worth the wait. Okay, so that's the video, guys. That's my look at Wakanda Forever. Now, let me know what you guys think about the movie. You heard my thoughts. Now, I want to hear from you. If you guys watched it yet, leave your comments below. And I'll catch you guys again real soon with more content. Take care out there.